What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Sweet and Savory Barbecue. I'm Jamie Trader. Today, we're going to be doing a great recipe. It's going to be ribeye steaks. We're going to top this with a bone marrow butter. Let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is make up our bone marrow butter. What we've done is just roasted off some marrow bones, topped them with a little bit of TX from Killer Hogs, put them in an oven at 375 and let them go for about 30 minutes until that marrow was soft. Then we combined it with an unsalted stick of butter plus about a tablespoon or two of that TX rub. Put that on some plastic wrap, roll it up into a log, stick it in the fridge, and it's good for a couple days. You can do this on the grill if you want. We made this a couple days ahead of time so it could sit in the fridge. We've got our ribeyes here. We're just gonna bust them out of the packaging, get them laid out on the board so we can do any trim work we want to do. You can do as much or as little trim as you want here. I'm just gonna kind of trim this tail off. Nothing crazy. Trim this tail off. Just make them a little more even, that's all. That's the only trim I'm gonna do. This little hanging bit there, that's it really. You know, if this was a competition steak, you know, we could go a little bit more in depth on that, but these are just some simple backyard steaks, and that's all that the trim work is. We're gonna get ready for some seasoning. This is gonna be a two-stage rub process for these ribeyes. The first one is going to be our wake-up call rub. This is like an AP that we've kind of got in development. Not available yet. Just use your favorite salt, pepper, garlic here. We want to give it a pretty good dose of this. Make sure we get our edges. All right, get the second steak. Give them a little bit of a pat in. We're going to let these hang out here for about 15 minutes before we put on our second rub. It's going to let them sweat out, let some of that salt draw in, and then we'll get our second rub applied. So our steaks have sweated here for about 15 minutes, 10-15. Next up, we're going to be hitting it with the Heath Riles Beef Rub. This is a great rub for steaks or brisket or anything like that. It's got some great color to it. It's also got a nice peppery note, which to me steak needs. So I'm just going to do about a medium coat on each side. Press it in just a little bit. Good for that side. I'll flip them over, do the back side. We're going to let this rub sit on here long enough to get our grill fired up. We're cooking this recipe on our PK today. You can do this on any grill that you want. Just make sure you're setting it up for a 2-zone fire, and you're going to want to run it about 575 on the grate temp. Once your charcoal is white hot, go ahead and dump it on one side of the grill. That way it stays on the hot side and a cool side, one for searing, one for finishing off to our internal temperature. Once we've got our charcoal dumped, we go ahead and get our grill grates back in place. On this PK, we're setting our vents on the bottom to about half and on the top to about half. Just before we put our steaks on, we're going to add in a small piece of hickory wood to give us a little bit of smoke flavor to these steaks as well. So our grill is up to where we want it, about 550, 575 in that range. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here, get a little cooking spray on our grates, let that sit there for just a minute, let that grill come back up to searing temperature. It's time to get our steaks on. I'm gonna put one here, give it a nice little push, and then another one there. I like to think 10 and 2, 10 and 2, 2 and 10. However, to me, it just helps me remember which way my steaks are going. We're going to let them sear on this side for 1 minute and 30 seconds. First minute and 30 seconds is up. I'm going to give these guys a twist. Give kind of a little pop. And just give it a twist. Nice little press down. Help maintain contact. Grab our second steak. Little press, another minute and 30. The next minute and 30 seconds is up. I wish y'all could smell this. It smells amazing, especially got that piece of hickory in there burning. Awesome looking grill marks. Go ahead and get that side searing. A minute and 30 seconds. Minute and 30 seconds is up. One final twist. While I'm in here on this last twist, I also like to kind of see where our internal temperature is, just to get an idea. About 115, so we're going to keep an eye on them here. Shooting for about a medium doneness. All right, let's come in here and check our steaks. We're going to keep a close eye on them. Don't want to overshoot them. Put our raised rack in there. I don't think we're going to need it for this cook. That one's done, and that one's done. They're both finishing out about 130, so we'll get them off and get them over onto the board and let them rest. So while our steaks are resting, we're going to get a good piece of that bone marrow butter. Put it right on top of each one. We're going to just temp them with some foil, not sealing it down, for about 10 minutes to let them rest. All right, y'all, it's been about 10 minutes. I can't stand it anymore. I'm sitting here smelling this. Looks amazing. This one hadn't quite melted yet. We'll kind of give it some help. That's a little bit thicker of a piece. We'll throw some more of it on this one. All right, I got a fork and I got a knife. I'm gonna act civilized. First thing we're gonna do is just see how we did on our cook. Oh yeah, money. Come up here towards that spinalis. Get me a piece cut off there. Running it back through that bone marrow butter. Oh my God. I may have died and gone to heaven. Of course, a ribeye steak on its own is amazing. But you pair it with the rubs that we put on there, the charcoal cook. To me, it doesn't get any better than a charcoal steak. People say all the time that like a pan-seared cast iron steak is the best. And don't get me wrong, that's a great steak. However, it doesn't, in my opinion, get the same flavor as a charcoal steak. Then you top it off with that bone marrow butter, that richness. Butter is rich on its own. You throw in some bone marrow on top of that, it's a home run. I might eat this whole thing. We'll have to see. Killed it. Thank y'all for hanging out with us today. We hope you enjoyed this recipe. Hope you give it a try in your backyard this weekend. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos, and we'll see y'all next time.